and thank you so much for sticking around this Sunday morning. Joining us now, we are talking to Miss Jana Welch. Now, you are with the Women's Health at DHR.
Right.
And we're talking about something very, very important, especially now that we're heating up. It's getting pretty hot outside, definitely, and of course, in a car, it's even hotter.
Right.
Now, that's important to bring up because there are some things happening now.
Right. Unfortunately, every year we try to get the numbers down, but we're already 2 months into the summer, and in the United States, we've already had 9 confirmed deaths due to parents leaving children in hot cars. And I know people think, oh, just how could that happen? And it doesn't. It doesn't go by wealth, race, education, anything. It's just that sometimes we're in such a techno world that we're tasking and doing, and our minds are going 50 miles an hour, and we forget there's a child in the car. A lot of this happens, especially if there's a change in the normal routine. One parent takes that child to daycare every single day, but today the other parent or a grandparent have to do it. It's not their normal routine on the way to work, and they forget. So I tell my class, I teach a class at Women's Hospital after you have your babies on how to avoid this situation. And one is, of course, never to leave a child unattended, period, even to run into the store or anything. And then to create reminders. So one way to do it is call the daycare. Say, I'm not coming today, so-and-so is going to drop the child off. If they're not there in 5 minutes, please call me. Text that other person and say, hey, you dropped the baby off. Some reminders for the moms or the parent that always drops the baby off is have your cell phone alarm and say, hey, your reminder of the baby, or have your computer pop up first thing as you turn on your computer when you get to work, where's the baby? You know, something to remind you that, oh yeah, we've got the baby. Now, other helpful reminders, we partnered with PetSmart and Kids in Cars, and we give out little stuffed animals, and it's a easy reminder because you put the stuffed animal in the back seat when no children in the car, and then when the child's in the car, you put in the front seat, so as you get out, you see a child there, and it reminds you, oh yeah, there's a child in the back. You can put your cell phone back there. Nobody forgets a cell phone.
Oh, right, of course.
And you can put your shoe back there. A lot of ladies like to take a shoe off, put it in the back seat just to remind them when they get out of the car. And these simple little reminders are very, very helpful. And since we started this program, I'm very happy to say, because we're on the hyperthermia task force for the state of Texas. And Johnny Humphreys looked it up for me, and we haven't had a death in Hidalgo County in 7 years. And so that's amazing with what goes on. So it's real important. Also, after you create your reminders, if you're in a parking lot and you see a child left unattended, don't walk by and say, that crazy mom, why did she do that? You stop, you call 911, and the police will come and get the child out, and you've just saved a life. So never walk by a car and not kind of look at, you know, if a child's there, and just keep walking by, okay? Or go into the store and say, you know, you can send somebody else into the store, but still call your 911, get the police there, and get the child out. That's just so important. Time is of the essence.
Exactly, most definitely. Now, I know you mentioned the hyperthermia task force. Now, tell us a little bit about what that is.
What that is across the state, we are monitoring and trying to prevent these deaths, and by getting PSAs out, by talking, by health fairs. And like my class, every single day I tell my parents, we don't leave a child unattended in the car. It only takes 20 minutes, and 10 minutes for the car temperature to go up 20 degrees.
Oh my goodness.
And people think, well, if I leave the window open, and that's not going to change anything, because what's heating the car is the plastics and the metals that are in there. And the more the sun gets on them, the more they heat up. Doesn't matter if the windows are down or not. You can't leave a child unattended. And I've had some parents say, well, what if we leave the car on, the air conditioning, and we run into the store? Well, that's a hazard all in itself.
Right, exactly. I mean, the car's on,
exactly. Yeah, you can think of 100 different things that's wrong with that scenario. So I discourage that as well. It's just like I said, you know, to avoid, and also lock your cars. Sometimes this happens at barbecues or just in your own home. Kids go out to play in the outside, they're playing hide and seek, or maybe they forgot they left their toy in the car, so they go out, they get in an unlocked car, the door's shut, the safety locks go on, They can't get out. Parents don't know they're in there, and by the time they're found, they've expired. And I think a lot of parents forget to look in the car first. So if ever you have a child that's missing, first place you're going to look is the body water, pool, tub, coolers. Coolers are huge drowning events now for small children, and of course the tub. So then you move to the outside, look in the car, then look in the car trunk, then look in the neighborhood, you know. So because we did have 3 deaths in Texas last year, and unfortunately in all of those scenarios, they looked all over the neighborhood and nobody thought of looking in a car. And one was in a neighbor's car, one was in, 2 were in their own cars in their own homes. So just if you think ahead and make sure you're locking your cars, and I know when we go to barbecues, everybody has their cars, you know, unlocked, and people are talking, nobody's, you know, watching the kids, and they're playing games, and that's easily how an accident can happen. A child just gets tired, they want to go home, or they're looking for something, and they get in an unlocked car. So it's important to lock those cars as well.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, what are some things that you can kind of advise people that are watching right now, as far as I know, because we're not technically even in summer yet, right? Or we're heated up.
And I think people think, oh, it has to be really hot for a child to die, and they don't realize a car that is even, we had an incident last year that was a near miss, and the temperature outside was 82 degrees, but when they got to the car and the child did fine, but the temperature inside the car was already 125 degrees, and it was only 82 degrees outside. And the lowest temperature that we've had on record of a child dying in a car has been 52 degrees. And the parents had gone in and gone shopping at a mall and left the child to take their nap. And so again, it doesn't matter the temperature. In 10 minutes, that car can go up 20 degrees.
I know.
So we don't leave them for H-E-B, Walmart, Starbucks, Circle K. And it is the state law. Any child, you never leave a child unattended under 7 years old in the car. So it is a state law. It's a Class C misdemeanor. So they need to take them in.
Yeah, definitely. I know, and it might be hard. I know parents out there might thinking, okay, I'm just going to put gas really quickly. I'm just going to go in and pay, come back, or I need to run in and go in. And it's just so much easier just to, I know it takes a little more extra time to take the baby out of the car seat or take the baby by hand or walk, but it kind of...
Or the child, yeah.
Exactly.
It's very hard. And in fact, I had... at the gas stations, it's real hard because it lists several things can happen there. Somebody can get in the car, and then 2, the child is by, you know, what if an older child starts to use a cell phone or something and you're by a gas tank. So it's just, it's just easier to pull up, take your child out, take them in.
Definitely.
And I know sometimes it's hard getting them in and out of those car seats, but again, that's for their safety. And as a parent, we need to always be mindful of their safety and try whatever we can do to protect our children. And that's very, very important. But there's several websites you can go to. There's safekids.org, which is national. Here in Texas, we have our saferiders program, and then we have, of course, you can go to the National Highway Traffic Safety website, as well as you can call me, and I can always give you tips and help you with your car seat as well. So.
That's really good. Yeah, most definitely. Like you had mentioned, all these different websites with all these resources, but of course you always said, most importantly, to kind of give yourself that reminder that someone is in the back seat. That way, a shoe even, I think that's so smart to, you know, you're not going to walk out with one shoe, are you? Right.
But, something you need for work, your briefcase, your purse, anything. So create a reminder, and that's very important.
Most definitely. Well, thank you so much for coming in
today. Thank you for having us.
Yes, of course. It's so important, definitely. I mean, we are getting into those hot summer months. I mean, it already feels like summer here in South Texas, but it is most importantly too. I know, right? Year round, it feels like Texas, like summer. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, folks. Well, when we come back, we are talking to the RGV chapter of Independent Electrical Contractors. Now, they have some programs that you definitely want to go ahead and be a part of. We will talk about that when we come back.